For all the talk about the new-look Dolphins with Dan Campbell, it looked like the same Dolphins Thursday night against the Patriots. I'm Brian Clark at CineSport talking about the game and looking at the week ahead of the NFL with Howard Balzer of the Sports Xchange. And Howard, a 36-7 loss to the Patriots, 4 touchdowns from Tom Brady. Was this just the case of the Dolphins playing a much better team and crashing to earth as a result?
I think that's a big part of it, certainly, is they didn't play the greatest competition these last 2 weeks. And so now they got their wake-up call, no question about it. And it can often happen. You're on emotion and you're on all this change, and so things are going pretty well. And I can't help but remember back in 2008 when the St. Louis Rams fired their head coach, Scott Linehan, after starting 0-4. Jim Haslett came in and they won the first 2 games, and they were talking about giving Jim Haslett a new contract, and everything was great. The Rams then lost their last 10 games of the season. Now, I'm not predicting that for the Dolphins, but it just shows how tough it is, and we also see just how good this Patriots team is.
Yeah, they're now 7-0, looking pretty unstoppable. Interesting game in Dallas this weekend as the Cowboys host the Seahawks. Cowboys coming off a tough loss to the Giants. They're 2-4. Get Dez Bryant back, but with all the Greg Hardy stuff and everything going on around this team, is their season in real danger of just getting out of control, especially against a good Seattle team?
It's close. It's definitely close to that perhaps happening. And, of course, Seattle comes up with a big win against San Francisco, although the 49ers aren't very good. But we'll see about Seattle in this game. But the Cowboys are in a very difficult spot when your whole season seems to be based around counting the weeks until Tony Romo comes back. That's very difficult. They need to play well in this game, because otherwise you're definitely going to start losing some confidence.
And then finally, a couple of the matchups of the week. We've got the Bengals and Steelers. Steelers get the full complement on offense back. Ben Roethlisberger returns. That should be a good one. And then the Packers showdown with the Broncos. Quickly, what will you be looking for in each of those 2 games?
Well, the biggest thing is, how will Ben Roethlisberger play? You just don't walk onto the field after not playing in a while and suddenly be as good as you were when you left. Sometimes those expectations are too high. So I think that's the big key here. And the Bengals are very good defensively. They're playing very well. They're also a pretty good road team under Andy Dalton over these first few seasons of his career. So I think this is a really interesting spot for the Steelers, but a lot will depend on Roethlisberger. And the Packers and the Broncos, very interesting, two undefeated teams. Right now, with Ryan Mallett being released by the Texans, Peyton Manning, by passer rating, is the lowest rated active quarterback in the NFL. However, he's come up with the big drive, the big play when they've needed it. And that defense is very good. So I think if that defense can hold down the Packers, then I still think the Broncos could be in pretty good shape here. But Manning can't throw the interceptions that he's had this season. He's tied with Sam Bradford for the most interceptions at 10 in the entire league right at this point.
Yeah, that should be a fun one Sunday night. Howard Balzer of the Sports Xchange. Thanks, Howard.